Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Enter the Gungeon. I'm Nye. I just had a run that disappointed the hell out of me. I had 5 extra chests on Chambers 1 and 2. Did not get any extra keys. Also did not get enough money to get the Nod key because I bought 1 extra key from the shop in order to actually open a chest on the oubliette. So very, very depressing run. I actually just I flat quit out. I was like, you know what? This is not worth it. One thing I didn't talk about in that episode, though, and I am gonna rehash this. So I do apologize every so often when I try to rehash one of these things that I said in an episode that got lost. I forget if it's something I've talked about before. So if I have, I apologize. But one of the things that I didn't have as a kid, for a variety of reasons, is I didn't have comic books. And I've been told that is a very strange thing to not have, but I didn't have comic books. It was, I didn't have, my family didn't do, like, allowance. That's not something we did. And it's not because we didn't have money. We did. My dad was a, pediatrician, so he was a doctor. We had money. It's not that we didn't have money. It's just that my family didn't do allowance. We did some chores, and that was about it. And occasionally we got a thing. Okay, so ammo that I'm not going to use. Got it. So, occasionally I'd get, I get to do something. But so because of that, occasionally I'd get a video game. Every couple of weeks I'd get a video game, or every month or two I'd get a video game. But there were no comic books. I didn't really get to do much of that stuff. So I didn't grow up with them. It just wasn't something that I grew up with. In fact, I think if I remember correctly, the only comic book I ever got that I recall off the top of my head, we went to King Soopers one day. So it's a grocery chain, for those of you who don't know. And for some reason, they had comic books in King Soopers. I don't remember why, but they had a section like dedicated to books, if I remember correctly. And they just so happened to, oh, that's shitty. They just so happened to have comic books in that section. And I went to my mom and I said, "Hey mom, look, there's this really cheap comic book. Can I get one?" She's like, "Sure, pick one out." I didn't know what to pick out, and so I remember picking out a Futurama comic book because at the time I really liked the show. I really do. I do still, but at the time I was really into it. So I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna pick up this Futurama comic book," and it was okay. But I distinctly remember reading through the entirety of that comic in like 10 minutes. And it was Futurama. The art style was not amazing, so this wasn't like a comic where you sit here and pore over the art or something like that. Like, there was really nothing to it. So once I was done with it, once I read it, there was nothing else in that comic book for me. And I was like, okay, well, that was interesting. That was it. I think I reread it once, and more because I was like, well, what is this? So a couple of years back, I was on a message board. I remember hearing someone refer. Someone had a weird avatar on the message board, and it was of this kind of bald man with these weird glasses. Square and a rectangle, one red, one green. And I was curious, and so I reached out and I said, "Hey, what's your avatar from? I've seen that before, and I don't know what it is." And they go, "Oh, it's this comic, Transmetropolitan." And I went, "Really? That's interesting." And then I never pursued it. So a couple of years, fast forward a couple of years, basically, and I have, I've had the opportunity to read that comic not once, but half a dozen times, because I really enjoy that comic. I think it's really smartly written. I love the art style, and I love kind of looking at the art and at, I love the story, but I also love the art, and I love looking and seeing stuff that I've never seen before, and not as much references that I've never seen before, because I talked about nostalgia last episode, I believe. Not as much references that I've never seen before, but, like stuff in the backgrounds and stuff the comics talked about. So that's become one of the ones that I read, once every 6 to 8 months. One thing that's amazed me is, and I promise you I'm not going to get political in this rant, But one thing that's amazed me is, given the similarities between that comic's storyline and the current political climate with the Trump administration, I am almighty amazed that I have not so far seen someone reference the comic in relation to Donald Trump and politics, because it feels like there is such a relationship. In fact, there was an incident that I saw just yesterday of comic imitates life or life imitates art. You can choose which. So for those of you who don't know the comic, I recommend all of you read it. Just if you're, under the age of, like, let's say 14, parental guidance is advised, I guess. There's a fair amount of gore in there, and there's also some, very adult stuff in there. But, I guess I'm going to open up the blue one, which is going to give me bouncing bullets. Interesting. But there's a... The idea is we're following the character of Spider Jerusalem, who is who's a journalist, specifically a columnist. And he kind of writes columns about all the stuff that goes on in a place called The City, which is basically just a really large city in a futuristic United States. We don't really know where it is, doesn't matter. Conglomeration of tons of cultures. Basically, I think of like an advanced New York when I think of this. So he writes columns about the city. Now the problem is, Spider Jerusalem is very much a misanthropist. He kind of hates people. He kind of has a negative attitude, but he's the curmudgeon with the heart of gold in a lot of ways, while at the same time being, he's very much dirty old man. He's a lot of things, a lot of it conflicts. But the idea is he wants to tell his readers of, number one, and probably most importantly to him, of the truth no matter what. He wants to let you know what's actually going on in life. He wants to show you reality as he sees it. He also has a firm interest in politics, which is where the majority of the story comes from. So the idea is he kind of follows along on a presidential campaign, covering the two candidates, following along with them. And then when one of them becomes president, the story kind of focuses on him as president and Spider covering him continuously. And the entire idea of the comic, in a very large way, is that the news really, shows people what we need to see, and that, freedom of speech and freedom of the press is a very important thing. That's kind of the idea. So there is so for those of you who are actually following what's going on in real life, you might already see where I'm going with this. But there's a very specific moment that caught my eye in the book. And in this moment, Spider, as a columnist, he's becoming famous. And keep in mind, he's already famous to a point, but he's becoming kind of a big deal amongst... oh, crap. Well, that sucked. He's becoming kind of a big deal amongst the populace. I want to save this for later. I'm not allowed to save it for later. He's becoming kind of a big deal amongst the populace, and people are remembering him. But also, other columnists, other reporters are referencing him and his columns in following... I forget whether the guy is a candidate at this point or whether he's actually the president at this point. But they're kind of referencing Spider. And the president says something. And while you're meant to hate this guy, this guy's not a good guy. He's not someone you want to look up to. And the book makes it fairly clear that, the president's a douchebag. For those who have followed the book, the Smiler is what I'm talking about. But the idea is that... So he reaches out and he says, look, if you're going to talk about this thing, fine, but don't make one of yourselves the story. Don't give the power to another reporter this way. If you're going to talk about the story, fine, but don't make don't make the reporter or the news story itself the story. And I thought that was a pretty smart statement, even though, as I said, you're supposed to not like this guy, you're not supposed to agree with him. But I kind of agree that we shouldn't make the reporter the story. As much as I like, for example, Anderson Cooper or John Oliver or Stephen Colbert or any of these other people who kind of do that style of thing, like they kind of talk about, report on, lampoon to a certain extent, news. As much as I love them, they are celebrity, but that is all that they are. They are celebrity. They can screw up as much as others. They should not necessarily become the story. Like, if they're reporting on a big deal, so, if I think if I remember correctly, after Katrina, if I remember correctly, it was Anderson Cooper who came down to New Orleans and spent some time here. He was the king of Bacchus, if I remember correctly, for a while. But it's like, the story should be, in this case, about Katrina, not about, oh my god, Anderson Cooper's going down and he's reporting and that makes him amazing. Like, it's good that you're covering stuff, but the story should not be, it should be story. So the reason I bring this up is that I was reading an article recently that literally was about this. It was a female reporter whose name, I don't recognize her name, so I didn't remember it. But she was talking about being in the newsroom at the White House. And it was kind of a big deal to her, because what she was saying was that at this point, the newsroom at the White House has become less about reporting the news and more about asking gotcha questions, getting your face on all the news networks, getting the cameras to point at you. And so what she said is that there's a bunch of seats in the newsroom, and the seats are where the cameras point at the most part. The big names in news, they get the seats, and kind of the smaller fry stand at the edge, so standing room only. There might be a couple of seats that are not currently spoken for, given just depending on who's there, and then the smaller fry can kind of fight amongst those seats as they will. So what this woman was saying was that she was 8.5 months pregnant, or something to that effect, and no one was willing to offer her a seat. Like, she's standing there trying to do her job. No one's willing to offer her a seat. That's, okay, I can understand wanting to have a seat in that situation. So she posts on Twitter about, hey, I was just standing here, gigantic belly, having trouble standing. It's been a bad day for my back. I can't seem to get a seat. And at that point, some reporters noticed and were like, oh, wait, let me get you a seat. But what she was saying was a lot of people at this point they're not trying to report as much as they are trying to, build their fame as a reporter. They're trying to, ask the gotcha question, show up on the television, be that person. And I thought that was very interesting. And she actually outright said that the reporters have become the news as opposed to the news they report on. So, as I said, it's a very much this feeling of, art imitates life or life imitates art. This thing that literally came up in a comic book that was published back in, nice. Good item. This comic book, was published a while ago. Like, it was published 2001? Somewhere around there? This is not a new comic. But it was bringing up these very kind of same issues. And kind of, again, from a slightly different perspective. I really wish that was the passive. From a slightly different perspective, it was bringing it up from, why am I going in this direction? It was bringing it more up from, like, this is a complaint that the bad guy was saying, that don't let this happen. But it very much does feel like, okay, this is something that's happening in real life. So, as I said, I was very surprised that given all the crap that's going on, and kind of how there is this kind of fight back and forth between, the presidential administration and reporters. I'm kind of amazed that there has not been this, or at least I have not seen a kind of compare and contrast between this comic book, which is literally about this stuff. Like, this is the point of the book, the comic, is, journalism and, you know, the ramifications of it and, you know, how it, you know, there we go. You know, journalism and how freedom of the press is important and stuff like that. So, you know, especially with a lot of the, I'm gonna swap from this to this because I need to have a bulk suppression option. But I'm just kind of amazed that this comparison, you know, basically does not exist, given what we're currently seeing in politics. So, very interesting thing. If nothing else, oh my god. If nothing else, one of the things I want you guys to take away from my rant today is everybody should go and read this comic. I think it is extremely well done. It is one of my favorite pieces of fiction. And it is something that, as I said, I go back and I reread this quite continuously. The writer is Warren Ellis. Now, I don't know the full details of how important he is as a comic book writer, but my understanding is he's a big deal in like Superman. So he's an established comic book writer. This is not just a random guy that came out of nowhere. This guy actually kind of knows his stuff. The art style is done very well. There's a lot of good humor in the books, and then there's a lot of good background stuff that goes on. There's a lot of kind of cool art that I love looking at because I have actually gone back and gone, wow, I never noticed this thing before in the background. You know, it feels a little bit Where's Waldo at times that I'm seeing like, wow, you know, you're supposed to be focusing on the main characters who are this person and this person, but this is also going on over here, and you just don't notice. Or you just don't pay attention because there are these other things going on that also demand your attention. There's also a fair amount in the book of commentary on other things that, while it's couched in the, you know, in the language of the books, the, you know, environment that the books have, the city, they apply very well to real life. I'm thinking of there's a small chapter done on, you know, slums and spending in that direction. As I said, the book is very political. There's a small section done on, yeah, we're just gonna say no to you. No. Yeah, there's a section on that. There's a section done on, entire section done on death, which was interesting. There's kind of a lot of these interesting little side stories that are absolutely worth your time, even if you're not necessarily into the more political aspects of it. Highly recommended. All of you should go out and read it somehow. I should probably not be standing right next to the TNT barrel. Okay, so we got a green chest down there, a blue chest up here. Obviously, the green chest goes first. We got the crutch. No idea where the secret room might be. It's not going to be based off of this. It's probably based off of the shop. Man, I wish so hard. Do I have anything I want to... Nothing I really want to sell, which kind of sucks. Who knows? Maybe we'll get the briefcase full of cash. It's not very likely, but it could happen. Okay, we really don't have much in the way of ammo in a boss killing aspect, which is kind of painful. Just do that real quick. Yeah, so ammo is kind of a problem right now. I'm probably going to have to switch over to, like, Betrayal. I could do the Heroine. Sorry, not Betrayal, Blasphemy. Probably going to have to switch over to Blasphemy and use Blasphemy as my boss killer. Damn it. Yeah, I kind of figured that would happen if I tried to use Blasphemy this way. So, okay, we're not going to get the health up. That's pretty fine. I need to get close to her to actually smack her with the actual blade of the sword. There we go. Okay, what did I get? I got the mermaid gun. Let's try here. Okay. So what I'm thinking is... we drop... First drop the snowballer. Always have to check the button to do it. Does that get me enough? No. Okay, we can also drop probably the Screecher without too much of a problem. There we go. Pick up the Ring of the Resourceful Rat. How much is the key? 30? Do I want to pick up... do I want to drop anything else? I don't think I do. I think we're going to go ahead and just break this chest. Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and go down. The Ring of the Resourceful Rat by itself is an excellent item. And if I somehow can luck out and get myself an S-rank passive, this will be a clone run. And that is, that's the goal here. We're gonna try to pull that off. Okay, I'm gonna have to use the heroin this week because we're running out of ammo. Come on, the heroin's awesome. It's just I would like to be using the hex gun. I think it is a slightly better weapon. Okay, can you actually hit the target that I'm aiming at, please? Crap. Good thing it doesn't home when I shoot it, or when she shoots it. He shoots it. That thing. Okay, come on. So lately, my dog has had this habit of, like, I'm trying to get a little bit more habit forming, I guess. Why couldn't you be extent? Last floor. 35. Okay, so we need to save up. We need to save up health. But I've been trying to form some habits. Things like, you know, eating better as soon as I wake up. But my dog has formed some habits too. And one of her habits is as soon as we wake up, and I say we because she's in the bed with me. As soon as we wake up, she immediately comes to me for attention and love. She kind of rolls over, crawls up to my chest, starts licking at me, and it's cute. It's like she's here all night long, waiting for me to wake up. And keep in mind, she's sleeping too. It's not as if she's not also sleeping. But it's like, I waited all night for you, I waited all night for you, it took so long, I waited all for night for you, and you're finally awake. It's so damn cute. It's one of my favorite parts of the morning, and unfortunately, you know, in my morning, you know, if it's a work day, I don't really have all that much time to cuddle with her, which is somewhat depressing. But I don't really have all that much time, so I gotta quickly, like, give her a hug and then start going. And, you know, part of that get going is, you know, go grab breakfast, stuff like that. 5 shots left. Okay. on you. Perfectly finished the room. I'm going to go buy a key before we enter this room. Casey's also very tempting, but I don't know if I want Casey. Okay, so which one's this one going to be? This is going to be the brown chest. Hopefully a key. It was not a key. Okay, that's fine. Very much hoping for a key somewhere on this floor. There we go. Sadly, the heroine is not the Mega Hand. It's a very, very good weapon, but it's not the Mega Hand. Like, it does not allow me to charge nearly as quickly as the Mega Hand does. Because you really need that second charge up to get the full damage off. Which is important on some of these enemies. Some of these enemies, you need that full damage. Sitting at Magic the other day, and you know, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I'm getting better. You know, I mostly do draft, and my record is averaging out 2-1. So out of 3 rounds, I'm winning 2 of them. And sometimes I do better, sometimes I do worse. But I'm averaging 2-1, which for me, I don't know about, you know, if you guys play Magic, you probably disagree. 2-1 is not all that good, right? You didn't win first place. But for me, 2-1 is better than I've ever been before, and I'm getting better. Yeah, I'm starting to be a scary competitor. I was sure I dodged over that, but sure. As I said, I'm starting to be the scary competitor that people, you know, kind of watch out for. But I got told that I am, well, speak of the devil, and apparently it shows up. Okay. Blue and blue. We'll open this one. Ugh, this is a terrible item. Yeah, I'm starting to be that competitor that people, you know, people watch out for. People, I'm not going to necessarily say, you know, are necessarily scared of me, but, you know, I can show up there. And I got told, I was talking to a guy, and he and I talk a lot. He is also a very good drafter and you know, very good in Standard. So I was talking to him, and he was looking through my rare binder, and I don't really have much. I still am fairly new to the game again, so I don't really have much that is legal in Standard. So I'm showing him I have a bunch of random crap, and he's like, you know, I understand what you have in your binder, because you're a tinkerer and you're an ideas guy. And I'm like, you know what? And he's like, you know, as opposed to him, who he doesn't come up with decks, he tweaks decks. He's a tweaker. Whereas I'm the one that I go, man, I really want to try, you know, this card, this idea. And that's not to say that I'm actually any good at it. I actually am really not. I like to throw together really silly deck ideas that really don't work. But it's, you know, with tweaking, maybe. You know, maybe if you did this and that and the other thing, if you adjust it a little bit, if you look at it funny, sideways, you might actually have a deck, you know, worth having. But it's kind of interesting. It's not something I was thinking before. You know, there's the magic archetypes of the you know, the Timmy, the Johnny, and the Spike. I'm very much a fan of the Timmy, if I remember correctly. I like doing the really stupid combos and, you know, doing stuff that really shouldn't work but does. I'm the guy who wants to make mill work in draft, where I cause you to lose all your cards. And the thing is that I go into a draft kind of knowing what I want to see, irrespective of what cards are actually in there. And that's not usually a good idea, you know? Usually you go in a draft and you want to base what you're doing based off the cards that are actually there. You know, your first 2 or 3 cards, they decide, you know, well, they will help decide where you want to go with the deck. Whereas I go, okay, I want to play in these colors today and I want to do this, and I'll kind of do anything I need to make that happen. And that's not usually how you want to do things. Oh, God damn it. Well, I don't think I'm going to be using the, don't think I'm going to be using the vampire. Because I have basically no health to give him. And we got a radiated shot. Do I want, you know what? Fine. 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 How much do I have? 1? Okay, tell you what. I will go down to 1.5 hearts. But yeah, it's... I never thought of myself like that. You know, I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him go... I think the big thing he was looking through my rare binder, and as I said, I don't have much. But he asked about one card specifically. One card in particular. And I said, you know what, I don't really wanna trade that card. And he immediately kind of understood, you know, my res is like, okay, I understand that. You wanna mess with that card. I'm like, yeah, I kinda wanna mess with that card. He was like, okay, I understand that, I respect that. We're gonna do that. But it was definitely, you know, kind of this interesting, you know, assessment of where I am, that I like to do the silly things. I think that's why I've enjoyed going back time and time again. He and I we were looking at, I was trying to decide what I wanted to build for a standard deck, because I have this, you know, fantastic Goblins deck that I run, but the problem is it's extremely aggressive, and there's members of our standard community who run, you know, basically anti-aggression, who run fog and stuff like that. Stuff that stops, stuff that specifically stops decks like mine from working. You know, they stop you from attacking the way you want to. And, so my thought was, okay, so I will, you know, let me go see if I can find a deck that can screw with that. And I'll just be, a meta breaker today. You know, I will screw with the meta myself. Where is it? Am I gonna die? I feel like death is a very distinct possibility. Hey, got a heart. Let's go ahead and escape rope out to the shop and see what he has. Admittedly, he doesn't have much. I'm gonna go ahead and buy the backpack. Just to kind of give myself the option to kind of do stuff. I'm still kind of in the heroin mindset here of charge twice then shoot. Naturally, that is not at all what I want to be in. Hi. You know, with this gun, you charge once and you shoot, so don't need to be doing charge twice and shoots. I do need to watch out for the key that I have. There we go. I need to hold on to at least one of the keys that I have for this room. Nope. What do we got? There it is. So one of my keys is going to be going straight into this thing. And then I will have the other key for use in the near future. We have a specialty room. What is this going to be? It is a Cursula who has Jack All. I would have been interested. Like, I was all for Cursula. But I don't know how much I'm interested in the items that she's selling. Why did I let that hit me? Hey, okay. Let's go ahead and open this chest. Actually, let's wait till the end of the floor. We have one specialty shop, but there is a somewhat significant chance we could have another. And I would hate to see, like, Flint and not actually have a chance to spend, like, with Flint. Now, my health is actively something we need to be concerned about. Hopefully the game will start dropping some red hearts for me. Alternatively, if the game does not feel like dropping hearts for me, I can go buy some. I have gotten very, very lucky that chest was not a it's not a mimic. That could have easily been a mimic. I was hoping this room would be over. Come on, stop shooting. Give me a heart? Nope. Okay. Okay, well, we'll open that, which can give me a brick of cash. I'm going to make the educated guess that the secret room is in here somewhere, because it usually is. Okay, so nothing huge. Got the Makarov, which has a combo with Mac Pack. I'm not familiar with that combo. And the Stinger. Okay. So good stuff there. So basically we have a little bit of money. And a gun capable of killing bosses. Kind of an interesting floor layout. I was really hoping to bank shot that. Because you sit here with bouncing bullets, and you think of it as more of a passive, enjoyable thing. But at the exact same time, I'm sitting here like, could be doing bank shots. Okay, I have a backpack. The stuff star's probably a good idea. Let's do it. Okay. Let's go do this real quick, just so I know that the blanks are spoken for. I'm kind of depressed at our health, and I just don't... We don't really have a good boss killer, which is going to become an issue on the next floor. Okay, who are we fighting? Okay, so good boss to fight. Yeah, we just don't have a particularly good boss killer here. We have, we have the Stinger. The Stinger is good. But I should not have allowed that to hit me. It just, like, I saw it coming and my mind blanked. Don't ask me why, I don't know. Almost got hit by that. I saw it coming. I was like, hey, that's getting unreasonably close to my face. Come on, there we go. Okay, we're just gonna pop that real quick. I just don't like how close he's getting to me. There we go. Whew. Still no more health, though. That's gonna be a problem in the extraordinarily near future. Let's go to my other... We got both chests. We got both chests. You have health. I'm doing it. Because if I don't do it, we're going to die. I'm trying to decide if I want the knife shield. I don't think I do. Okay. It's probably not going to end well. as I said, we don't really have a good boss killer. We have the Stinger, which is a good weapon, but by itself, not the most amazing boss killer. We're going to have health. I'm not worried about my health. I mean, I'm worried about my health, but I'm not as worried. I don't know, maybe we'll get a weapon or something. Okay, what do we got? Oh, we got this room. Okay, I need Makarov, I guess. Okay. No. What do we got? Basically the same room twice. God damn it. This room just sucks. Oh. I'm gonna say, let me out. Excuse me. God, so it's not often that they both use... Okay, now I'm actually... Can you... There we go. And Mega Hand is failing me right now. Make sure that has ammo. It's not often that Mega Hand actually fails me to the level it just failed me. Got one. Okay. Oh, I'm just going to take all the damage. We haven't even gotten to the boss yet. Where'd he go? Moving on. Man, like, we're taking all of the damage for none of the good reasons. Okay, I want this full. I want this half full. We're gonna go with the Stinger until we run out of ammo. That's what's gonna happen. Okay. Just good practices. Okay. Tons of crap everywhere. God, he is not giving me any place to stand here. Am I going to die to phase 1? Whew. It's phase 2 I'm actually scared of, so if I die to phase 1. This is not going well. Okay, come on. Nope. Yeah, we're not doing that attack. I need... Nope, not that. Need that. And to swap out for that. Crap. Oh, and I thought I had a blank. Oh my god, another fail on the rat. I'm so upset. I'll see you guys later.